Hello and welcome to the True North Show, a show where we dive into the pivotal moments that ignite our guests' passion, uncover the stories behind their purpose, and reveal the real-life strategies they use to stay balanced and prioritize mental well-being. Get ready for inspiring conversations that light the way to living with intention, resilience, while following your true north. I'm your host, Megan North, and I would like to thank our sponsors of the show, Quantum Awakening, Beth Lewis, Anne C. Clark, and our lovely guest who paid to be featured on this episode. Now, talking about our lovely guest, today we are joined by Yvonne Purvis, the Wealth Identity Mentor, online CEO and embodiment coach for high-achieving women. At just 28, Yvonne built a multi-million-dollar business without a roadmap, just powerful self-trust, bold decisions, and deep embodiment of the woman she chose to be. That business gave her freedom, luxury, and overflow, and revealed the truth she now lives and teaches. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you embody. Today, she mentors ambitious women, entrepreneurs, leaders, visionaries who are ready to break through their current ceiling and embody the vision of themselves who already live the life they want. This isn't about more doing, it's about becoming. Her work activates identity of elevation, energetic mastery, and business alignment to create quantum shifts in income, visibility, and self-worth. Her clients just don't grow their businesses. They fully step into the woman who leads them with confidence, clarity, and magnetism. Welcome to the show, Yvonne.
Ooh, thank you for being here. I'm so excited. You were reading that thing. I'm thinking, oh, wow.
How does it feel when I'm reading all of that out?
Well, it feels like it is me. It is so embodied. It's like, wow, do I really do this and embody it? And I do. And it was like, wow, I haven't really heard anyone speak that to me.
And I think that that's why I love, as I was just saying to you before, I love having my guest on the screen when I'm introducing, because I think it's often we do all these incredible and amazing things, but we actually don't tell ourselves actually what we do. It's just a normal thing. So when you hear someone else say it, I actually think it's a really beautiful process for you.
I got goosebumps, like seriously, all the way up my arms. I'm like, oh my gosh.
This woman sounds amazing.
She does. And we have to tell ourselves that, of course, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's dive in. So what was the defining moment that led you to pursue your true passion and purpose?
Well, I've had multiple passions, and every time I have shifted in my profession, which is also an identity, it's always been my true passion in life. So I started as a professional. Well, I started as teaching aerobics and personal training. Then I went into, when I was old enough, I got into dancing on stages.
Wow.
And I was in a car accident, which eventually limited my dancing. And then I went into my event planning business, which is the one that I created. And yes, at the age of 28, became a millionaire, which really wasn't talked about. Like my accountant would just say, you have a really good business here, Yvonne. And I'd be okay. But I just loved what I did. It was me. It was my passion. It was just fun, right? And effortless. And what drew me into where I am today, again, is very similar. But this time, I think what happens when we've been through life and we get older and we have a situation, we let our minds sometimes get in our way then. And I just, speaking of, I was in a marriage for 20 years that was really not meant for me in that long-term marriage, but I stayed. And these are the lessons that actually, so what happens, it's like you're driving in the car and we're in our right lane, and then we detour. And the detour is maybe not forever. It was only supposed to be for a moment to come back into our path. I detoured and I didn't want to listen to anyone, and the universe tapping me constantly, and went down that that 20 years that I literally went from rock bottom to finding who I am again, to remembering who I am again. So I started online in COVID, right? Again, everything is always from my intuition. I'm very intuitive and guided by source. I call it source energy. You might call it the universe. You might call it God.
Yep.
And it's always right when we are in alignment and listening to our intuition. So it started coming back to me. I started coming back to myself. And I went into a different business online, which was more in the weight loss and fitness. And over a year ago, I wasn't aligned. And I was being driven into what I'm doing now with a sense of purpose and really a greater way to help more people in living their best life, the life you are meant to live, and not listening to the fear brain that wants to keep us stuck and our limiting beliefs and all the patterns that have happened in our lives. And I guess when I went through the 20 years and having to reprogram myself because I literally had no confidence, no no self-worth, no love for myself. So if I've done it, I know I can help someone else find themselves again, because I do believe that it happens to so many, because my clients tell me, especially being women and mothers. And my passion now is to just help as many women, millions of women, rekindle themselves, remember who they are, and dream big, because we get one chance at life. And I'd rather you be the creator than the passenger in life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that you talk to these things about, the different identities, because I think that, traditionally the way that I was brought up, my dad worked on the railways here in New South Wales in Australia his whole life for 42 years. So he only had one job, he stayed there. And I know that was a belief system that I needed to shift in me, because I'm always thinking of what are the things that I can do and what are new things that I can create. And so I think that being able to have that, I think it's courage and confidence to be able to step into something that you feel that is aligned to you. And I also think, do you know what? It's okay to do that. And if it doesn't work, that's okay. Pivot. At least you're not sitting back thinking, oh, I wish. And I love that you're talking about it as an identity, because at that moment, that may be the identity that you are for that moment. And then you need to shift and pivot and move and change, because that little piece of that identity that you have been gifted will then help you on the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step.
We're meant to grow. We're not meant to stay the same.
No.
And, when you were talking about identity, and it's like when I was going through my marriage, when I had my event planning business, I had it for 10 years living here in Australia, because I'm from Toronto, Canada. And then we had that financial crisis, and I wasn't able to keep the business because of, it was just the way it was. They were looking at all cost and whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it's funny, because I was holding on to that identity for a long time, because it was keeping me sort of in this person, but yet in my marriage, I was going like this. So I was trying to hang on to something of that woman that I remember, who had the money, had the business, could do whatever I wanted, and had self-love and confidence. And slowly I was disappearing. And I kept saying, but when I had my company, Always Entertaining, I was this person. Yes.
So
right? I was trying to hang it on to her, but I was around somebody who was dragging me down, and I could not keep up. Right? Because I didn't have family. I didn't have friends that knew me for that long. They would have said, what are you doing?
Yeah.
They would have woke me up. Get out of the marriage.
Yeah.
So it was just like, all of a sudden I thought, oh my gosh, you just like pinned a point that needs to be said. Because women, we stay. We stay sometimes in a situation too long because we're worried about what people think.
Yep.
What will they say? How will
Yes.
they look at you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're rude. You're this. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't care what anybody thinks of me. That
Yep.
is, it's not my business, first of all.
Exactly.
And people, the ones that love you and support you will always be there. And when people fall away, more people are coming in that will support you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I also think too that that piece of, I've been doing a lot of, I had a woman on the show recently that was about forgiveness. And I think
Mm,
that, as women, I think giving ourselves forgiveness. So I was in a marriage for 18 years and probably should have left after the first few because I just, there was reasons, but I didn't. And that's okay.
yeah.
But I realized after that I actually had to give myself forgiveness, that's okay, because at that time I didn't know that. And
Mm.
the forgiveness piece of, and I feel like then the forgiveness of yourself at that moment, then you can surrender, it can shift, and then you can move through that identity.
I couldn't, and I think that's great. But for in my life, I could forgive everyone but me.
But not yourself. Oh,
It
wow.
was the last, so I couldn't really forgive myself. I was now divorced, and I remember, and it was a house that I purchased that I started to forgive myself and started changing.
Right.
And that was almost 4 years since I was divorced, that I still could forgive everyone else and him and his kids and whatever. But I thought I forgave myself, but I really didn't, not even forgiveness. I didn't love myself.
Yeah.
And I struggled with that because it was like, how did I stay after seeing? It's
Yeah.
the replay, right? That
Mm.
replay. And
Yeah.
it takes work to really let go. And I was suppressing that emotion.
Mm.
And we cannot suppress it. You won't be able to move on,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So good on you for doing that. That took me, that was the one thing that was a lot harder. And that's why I had to sell the house.
Mm.
Last year, it was like, I'm out of that house. I couldn't be around anything from that old identity to
Yeah.
where I am today.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't it amazing? It's so
Yeah.
incredible. And it's so interesting, isn't it? Because in that old identity too, and the previous one, you were this fierce, confident, incredible, amazing woman that you loved yourself, but then that slowly disappeared, and that you could forgive everybody else, but not yourself for a
Mm,
while. That's really interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't know if it's just being hard on myself,
yeah.
right? And strong. And, I move countries alone. And
Mm,
that's that independent woman that I know I am.
yeah,
I do those things that I know it's a very small percentage of people that will take those big, bold moves.
yeah.
Um, I think I also was embarrassed of
Mm,
myself. I felt like a failure,
mm,
right? I didn't leave because I thought I would feel like a failure. So I had a lot of emotions that I had suppressed
yeah,
over the 20 years together.
yeah.
So I think for me, it was really having to deal with all of it.
Mm, yeah, yeah. Wow.
Mm,
Really beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we all have something that we hide from.
Mm,
And I'm giving everyone that's listening permission to stop hiding.
mm,
Own it. Be proud of yourself that now you've got through it.
yeah.
And can I share another little fun
Yes.
thing? So I thought I was all good, of course. And I went to London, England, not long ago for an event with my mentor. It was a
Mhm.
1 day event. And that's a 30-hour flight one way, 30-hour flight back. And at this one event, we're all talking, and we were talking about some of our fears, and I was sharing some of my fears and what was happening. And I thought, after I said it, I went, wait a minute, that's not my fear anymore. These are just habits. These are just old habits that are going on in my brain.
Yeah.
And I felt so good. And the rest of the women started talking. And once we all stopped, I felt nauseous.
Mm.
And this is what's the fun bit. And I do call it fun because it's what happens. I went run to go
About-
to the bathroom, and it came out projection, literally this end and the other end, and lying on the bathroom floor. I know, not joking, seriously. Didn't matter where I was. I had to lie down on the floor in the toilet room, but it was my body finally letting go of that old belief in me. It's a rebirth.
Yeah.
It's a rebirth. They call it rebirth in manifestation. I had a complete rebirth, and I left her in London. Never going back there, just so you know. And I felt like a whole new woman, light, easy. And this is the importance to understand the emotion that holds on to us. You can think you're changing identity and moving forward in life, but if you haven't let go of some of that stuff, eventually it will stop you in your life.
Yeah.
Really being able to be your complete whole self.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a physical shifter as well. So I know if I need to run to the bathroom because I've been working on something, I'm joyous about it.
Yes, exactly.
It's fantastic. Like, wow, I've just shifted something that was obviously very deep. And it's usually the really deep work that I do that I have that physical shift. And I'm like you, I know it sounds weird, but I'm joyous about it because I think, wow, great, it's gone. And to me, it's also a very big sign from the universe that I feel like it's almost a gift. It's weird, but it's almost a gift to say thank you, because I'm a visual person as well. So I need that sort of physical visual shift, I guess, for me to actually then the universe is saying, well done. Let's move through this now.
It absolutely. And there are obviously not all of us go through that kind. That's what happens to me because it happened again recently from a big, bold move that I did.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say big, bold. It was just something that I went, no more. I was now in that identity and knowing who I am. And when something doesn't align with me, and if a client comes in that would like to be a client, because this is what it was, it didn't align with me. I woke up feeling, oh my God, this could be a really challenging year with her. And I had to turn her away. And within 24 hours, I was doing the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those are beautiful moments because you go, wow, I'm now upgraded again. My identity's gone to that next level.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that shift. And it is a very, very powerful, and that's what we call the collapsing of time. Why women can have things that some people go, you made what in 12 months, right? Like it's so magical and fun if you allow it to be.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. That's so funny that we do that. Yep, let's just tell everyone that that's what happens.
Like I said, it is just sometimes not everyone gets it. Some people get the headaches and dizziness and vertigo, right? It's always different, but it's more about speaking about this, like have awareness around it.
Yeah.
Like, really, if you are more aware of every moment and your thoughts, you will be in tune with yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a beautiful joy and gift to have that as well, because your decisions are so much quicker because you're just so in tune and so aligned. It makes life so much easier as well.
It does. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And so with all of this change, I mean, obviously with your marriage breaking down, there would have been a lot of stuff going on from a mental health point of view as well. But how do you maintain and balance and prioritize your mental well-being in the midst of pursuing your dreams? So when, like last week or the week before, when you really had to make that decision about that client, what sort of things do you do to balance to make sure that your mental well-being is being looked after?
Well, I'm very, these are my non-negotiables, I call them.
Yeah, okay.
First of all, I get up early.
Mm-hmm.
I get up, my alarm goes off at about 4 a.m. and I feed my dog and I make a cup of tea and I go outside and I do a beautiful meditation for 10, 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And some of it's about a visualization again, right? And then I go for a run. So a form of exercise, and running is my running meditation. It is where I clear my energy and it just balances me in every way.
Yeah.
And I eat well. I don't eat packaged or any of that food. Okay, I have Parmesan cheese. But I eat for my body to be fit and healthy. And I look after myself. I go to bed early. I'm like 8 hours sleep. And I say no to anything that doesn't feel good to me. Even if I've committed to something, like I've committed to going out to an event tonight. And you know what? I've had a really big week and I'm probably not going. I will honor my body because that is more important because if I'm tired, am I being my best self going to an event? No.
No, definitely not.
I mean, if it was something I had to be there, I would absolutely go. But this is something I've just a networking thing. And I'm just seeing how I feel because my sleep and my well-being comes over anything else in my life now.
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah.
I guess I look at things very differently. Also, if anyone's here who is a single woman, we also are looking after everything. So energy is going into a lot of areas that usually is very masculine for the man. So this is where that combination of masculine and feminine energy also, sometimes I'm a little more too much on the masculine, so it's that compromise. But my non-negotiables to keep health and fitness and meditation. You've got to have quietness. We live in a crazy world that everything is going, everything, bing, 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 bing. And if you can't spend at least 15 minutes, 2 times a day to go inward and be within, to allow yourself to breathe, to just center yourself. Because then you're not reacting to life.
Yeah. So, and I love that you just talked about, that networking event tonight as well. So obviously boundaries are very important for you too. And I think that's one of the things, again, that we need to make sure that we're always got our boundaries in check, because, if it's just a networking event and you are tired and I often feel now I'm the same. I'm actually can be quite honest with people and say, I've had a really big week. I'm really tired. I'm actually not going to go tonight. Now, the response from that person is then always interesting for me too, because I talk about, do you have to have courage to put boundaries in place or have confidence? Because I always say, if you feel like you've got to be courageous to put a boundary in place, then you're concerned about their response.
Yeah.
But if you've got confidence to put that boundary in place, you don't care what the response is.
I call it self-love.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I have to say, because I am a confident woman, so for me that word's doesn't resonate as much. But when I say this is self-love, Yvonne, this is me putting me first, because you have to put yourself first.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're married or not. If you don't love yourself more than anyone else, that means you're always giving something else to someone else and not filling your cup.
Yeah.
Boundaries are very important. And like I said, I think women don't have the boundaries around so many areas of their life, giving too much, doing too much. So check in with your boundaries. Definitely.
Really important, aren't they? Yeah. Okay, so it seems like a good time to go to a break just to hear from our beautiful sponsors that we have on the show. So we will have a quick break and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Welcome back, everybody. So Yvonne and I have just been in a very deep conversation about boundaries in particular. And I suspect that a lot of people watching this and listening to this, I think, would be able to really resonate with that. So I hope there was a couple of things in there that we spoke about that help our audience and our listeners. So Yvonne, has your path to pursuing your passion and purpose evolved over time?
Well, that's a great question. I believe that our passion, like we're born with a mission, we're born in a body that we're meant to have everything, right? And what I'm doing right now, I believe, is where I was always meant to come to. It might have been delayed, but I also don't think it was delayed. I think we have to learn sometimes a lot of lessons to be where I am today. So, yes, I am doing exactly what I'm meant to do. Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
And I think I often talk about the fact that, when we're manifesting and when we're in a place right at this moment, this is just a tiny little speck of what our whole life is. Like our soul knows our whole journey. It has the umbrella view. And so when you're in alignment and you're really trusting, I think that sometimes those moments that come to you of, oh, this doesn't feel right, or this is a bit strange, or, oh, isn't that interesting? I kind of veered off there, but I really need to come back. I just have that trust that the universe is actually steering me somewhere because there's something in that moment that I need some wisdom, or something that I'm learning that then I can take when I pivot back. Because, your soul has that whole view, and it's just that tiny little moment in time. And so that deep trust, I think, is really important.
When you really get in tune with yourself, the trust is there for sure. Doesn't mean that you don't have situations that you might want to do something and yet you don't do it. You might procrastinate it. It's always like asking yourself, why am I procrastinating this? Is there fear around this? Because those questions will allow you to actually know what you're meant to do.
Yeah.
This fear is definitely, it's real, but it's not real. It's this part of our brain that doesn't want you to expand. It wants you to keep you in this safe zone. Like, it's weird, right? Like, you think our brain should be helping us.
Yeah.
It's doing the opposite. So that's where, when we want to do and move forward, and if it's changing a business, leaving a job, these things, if you feel it in your gut, that's your intuition. That means, yes, you need to go and take that leap. Because then, we both know this, when we go first, the universe follows and the doors start opening for the new job or the clients or whatever it is that you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also think too, it's really interesting when we're talking about intuition and then fear, or people talk to me about, they feel nervous. And I say, did you know that the same feeling in your stomach of nervousness is exactly the same as excitement? So, that little mindset shift of, oh, I'm really nervous about this. Okay, acknowledge that, but actually, can you then shift it to excitement? And I think fear kind of comes into that as well, because, fear is always trying to keep us safe. But if we can shift that as well to say, oh, okay, I'm feeling that, I'm going to acknowledge you, but actually I'm really excited about what's
That's it.
That tiny little mindset can really make a difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think for me, being a dancer, very young age, right? We were going on stage, your stomach would always have that nervousness. You're right. But it wasn't a nervousness not to go. It was just nervous. It was like, okay,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Okay.
Here we go. Yeah. Thankfully, I guess I've always experienced it that way. But when I'm purchasing something that's a larger, like when I was investing with my current mentor, it was a 6-figure investment, right? That took me, some talking to and feeling into it, but it was also an identity shift of, oh, you know what? This is my new normal. Of course I'm doing this. Yeah. And this is how we change.
Yeah.
Not allowing to go, oh my gosh, blah, blah, blah. I went, no, this is good. This is my next identity. Of Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that.
The brain. You got to just rewire it.
Yeah. And you can do it quite quickly too. It doesn't need to be a long drawn out task either. It can actually, you can shift your state very quickly and just say, that's where I'm going. Yeah.
I call that person Lisa. Her name's Lisa. When she comes out, I'm like, Lisa, not today. I have no time for you.
Nuh-uh, girlfriend.
Yeah. But when I named it, it just felt like easy.
Right.
It didn't feel like this. It just doesn't stick around.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, Lisa, no, I'm good. It just allowed me to slide through there.
I love that. Lisa.
I don't know where the name came. It's sort of that came to me, right? That's God working through me. It's Lisa. Okay.
And apologies to any Lisas.
I don't know what. Sorry. I know, because it's a name. It's like having a dog that has a real name. It's like, ooh.
So we talked before about the mental health and well-being and the things and the rituals that you do. So do you have any other practices or rituals that you incorporate into your daily life that you stay grounded and focused particularly? I mean, obviously the meditation would be something that would.
It does, but let's just be, I'm now looking at how I am in my day, right? Mm-hmm. Because we can be grounded in a meditation, then we get out of it and we're like, boom, boom, boom.
Yep.
So I am very conscious, these words, I am conscious of my thoughts and how I'm feeling in every moment, almost every moment. Mm-hmm. So when we are in an identity, or you want to be in a different identity, how does that person act and feel and do? Mm. So the question that you were asking, like, how do I stay grounded? By making sure I am being the woman that I am being. Mm. As a multimillionaire, they move different. Mm-hmm. They listen. They don't react. They're calm. Mm. Different, isn't it?
Very. Yeah. Yeah.
So rather than thinking grounding, think about who do you want to be and start thinking from her. Mm-hmm. When you start thinking of her, and it doesn't happen overnight, these are practices. So it's like checking in with yourself at the end of the day. How did I go today? Mm. What was I her? Did Lisa come out today? Or was Yvonne in her present day? Like I even made a name for myself, which was YMP. I put a different initial. I put my middle name in there so that it reminds me of that identity. So right. These little things that you can do in your life to make sure that you are being more grounded. Mm-hmm. Grounded for some is different than others, but grounded for me is being in that place of calmness, of certainty, of knowing that everyone's doing their best. And when it's not there, I send love, you know? Yeah. I mean, the passport thing, I wasn't so much in Yvonne. Anyway, but yeah, so it's these things, these self-reflection that you can stay in and ask yourself at the end of the day. And if you keep understanding who you are and paying attention, you're going to feel more grounded. Yeah. You're going to feel more in alignment.
Yeah.
With who you would love to be.
Yeah, I love that. That's really beautiful. Thank you. So what advice would you give to someone who is just starting to explore their true passion and purpose?
Oh, you just gave me so many goosebumps. I just want you to think about everything you desire and write it down. I want you to write it down like it's happened. Have fun with this. Like if it's whatever, you want to write a book. Oh my God, I'm so excited. My book is published. I am a #1 author. Like go feel that energy.
Yeah.
And do it. Don't let the back brain end. You've got to keep your blinders on here. And you have to be really mindful who you share that with, because most people won't support you. Most people are going to say, what are you doing? What do you mean you're quitting your job? Why are you doing that? Blah, blah, blah. Stories. It's your story. It's your life. Find your passion and just know it's where you're meant to go.
I love that. Yeah, beautiful. And I think that I talk to people a lot about, be mindful of who's in your inner circle. Because, you know, you don't, if I go, oh, I've got this great idea and I'm going to go on Facebook and LinkedIn and say, ta-da, I'm going to do this. And then 2 months later, it's a disaster or it's not really working. Then I've got to explain to everybody. Whereas for me, I'm really mindful of who I share my thoughts. Yes. And then it's different as well to who I share that with. I have a business mentor. So if I've got an idea, I'll say to him, you know, this is what I'm thinking. Can I get your thoughts? Or it might be something more personal and I share it with my husband. You know, I'm really mindful of who I share things with, because then I'm choosing the people who I know are going to support me, but they're also going to support me in a way that they're going to challenge me.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So that's a beautiful point.
Well, they will see what you say to them in you. And you want them to just help guide you in there.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
You know, when you are really with the right people and they feel that energy that you want to do this, then like, yes, that's exactly what you should be doing. Absolutely. Yes, do it.
Yeah.
That's the energy. Those are the people. Though, and we're not talking a lot of people.
No.
There can only be one.
Yeah.
Right? For me, because being a single woman, let me tell you, I talk to myself. I know who I am very well.
Yep.
I have the conversation with myself, but it's also being quiet. So when you start to become quiet and you're in meditation, everything is within us. We don't need to ask anyone if you allow yourself the time.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Really beautiful. So in what ways do you believe that your personal story can inspire or impact others?
That's a good question. I know, tongue-tied there. I would say that as a 57-year-old woman who's had a really full life, and I've had a very full life in all areas that most people have not had. I know that to be true. I really do. Not many, from how I look at my life, the adventure, traveling around the world from the age of 16 years of age. I move fast in life. And when I go back into my story and I think about what I've done, it's those moments that I know it's inspiring to see it for myself when I think about all the things I've done, all the changes I've done. Like I didn't sitting when I couldn't dance and felt the pain of being 50. I used to say that to myself, and here I am. But I moved fast. You know, I started to think, what else could I do? What else can I love? And I think that is the inspiring part that people will get from me, is that I don't let things sit in me. When it feels not good, and if like when I was in that business a couple of years ago, nothing was working. Clients weren't enrolling in my business. Money wasn't coming in. I was like, oh my God, what's going on, right? I had to go inward, and that's when all these ideas started to think, you're not meant to do this anymore, Yvonne. I was into manifestation, and I just moved through it. People think it's probably easy for me. I know people must. I have people that say, wow, you've done a lot. And it's not easy, but they're decisions, and I trust that flow. Doesn't mean it's not painful. Doesn't mean it's not hurtful and, you know, not hard and struggling. But I listen now. I'm very conscious of my decisions, and I consciously manifest. And I think my story is powerful.
Absolutely.
And I believe it to be true because of all the things I've had to go through to be where I am right now. As a single woman who's 57 years of age, who's moved countries. I moved 5 times in 2021. Right? Like those are things that, you know, it was just like that year, the universe was pushing me to change fast. Hope that answers your question. I don't know. That was a one I haven't really thought about. So. Yeah.
And so you've spoken about manifestation quite a lot through our conversation. So do you have a particular process that you go through for yourself? Like, How do you manifest? What do you do?
So it's always an idea. So think about this. I'll give an easy one, and this will be one that everyone can try. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you haven't manifested before, I want you to think about a car that you would like to see. So maybe it's a green car and or a truck, and just put it out there, write it out, say you would like to see this car, or maybe it's drums. And within 24 hours, I want you to see if you find it, because you will.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And how I look at manifesting is when it's easy, when you're not resisting it. So manifestation has 2 points, right? Like we desire something, and then it's allowing it to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we need to take action in that.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I'm excellent, well, there's a lot I'm excellent, but this one I love doing, love saying, is finding a parking spot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I live in a small town in Noosa, if you're from Australia, right? It's a very busy little street. The locals hate to go there when the tourists are here. I'm like, I always get a spot.
Yeah.
Literally, I can sit in a parking lot, and I sit and I say, okay, God, I'm ready for my parking spot.
Mm-hmm.
And within 5 minutes, someone's there pulling out.
Yeah.
But it's because you're calm,
Mm-hmm.
you're direct in what you're asking for, no resistance.
Yeah.
And I'm open to receiving it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're in that deep trust as well that it's going to turn.
Always.
I do that all the time when I'm driving to the shops. Parking gods. I call them the parking gods.
There you go.
Gift me a car spot at, whatever car. I even name the car park. Like if it's
you're good.
or Coles or something, or, somewhere particular, a Westfield or something. Can you please gift me a parking spot, at Westfield today as I'm going, thank you. I give it gratitude, and 100% always. Yeah. It's that trust, because you just know.
It is. And okay, those are really easy ones.
Very
So
easy.
just to be fair, when we're wanting something more, and if it's like buying a house,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is a good one because I had to trust this. So I'll just share one more so you can understand, because sometimes it's time. Sometimes you got to wait. You can't let your vision off of what you desire.
Yes.
So I was selling my house, and I knew the house I wanted to live in. I knew the area, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And literally the day that I'm moving, 5 days before I was moving, I had nowhere to go. I'd sold my house. I rented it back for a couple of weeks. And then all of a sudden I'm like, I got to get out of here. I haven't done a rental. So, I had to get into action. So remember I talked about action. So my action's like, okay, find an Airbnb, get your furniture into a storage center and do all those things. That house, I looked at a house. I thought, oh, that's the house. Didn't hear anything. So I had to keep moving. The day I was literally moving into the Airbnb and getting rid of it, they said that we'd love you to take the house. Yeah. So there was time. I was looking though, right? So when you're selling a home, you're looking. I was looking, putting offers in, and you're getting no's, and you're looking at homes and no's are coming. This is part of it. So you've got to trust and just stay with the vision.
Yeah. Yeah. And another thing that I do too is that trust this or something better. I often say in my manifestations as well, because then I think, well, oh, this is what I thought I wanted, but actually the universe is stopping me because I've asked for this or something better. And so I need to trust that if that didn't happen, it's because something better is coming.
I agree with you, but it's always the way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right? If it's not what you never get what you think.
Yes.
You always get better.
Yes.
So I guess I already know that.
Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, okay.
It's always better. Like when I got this house,
yeah.
It was way better than I had expected.
Okay. Oh, isn't that interesting?
It's always better. Always. And that's why sometimes there is a delay, because you've seen what you would love.
Yeah.
Right? And remember, this has to come from love, not want.
Yeah.
You can't want something.
Yeah.
Or need it. Sorry, you can want it. You don't want to be in a need.
Need, yeah.
Need is resisting. It means you never will have it.
Yes, yeah. And one of the other things that I find that really shifted with me from a manifesting point of view too is that, because a lot of people talk about visualization. Yes, I think it's part of it, but I also think it's like emanating that feeling, like how is it going to make you feel? Imagine yourself in that house. So you're viewing the house, but then how are you going to feel? Imagine walking through the kitchen and the lounge room. And I think the feeling is really important when we're manifesting as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're realigning your energy, I think, to then.
It's the magnet.
Yeah.
It's the energy magnetism.
Yes.
Like I knew and I felt that house living in the old house.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yep.
It's just this, and I've been able to do it with all my houses that I've ever owned. I've owned 5 homes now and sold, and every one of them was always better than I expected. And I felt it, though. I knew it. And there's a knowing. You've got to know and you've got to trust. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But feeling is very important.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that I feel like sometimes that's the missed point with manifesting. People are like, I'm visualizing it. I'm like, yeah, but how does it feel? And they go, oh, I don't know. I haven't thought about that. That's the big part of it.
Absolutely.
I actually think it's even more important than the visualization.
The feeling means it's like you're, it's just you're done. You can feel it. So now you just wait.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I think most people think it should be here by now, and then you're looking for it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a little bit like you when you say that when you shift up to that new identity of you as a person, right? Because you're already living like that. You're already thinking like her. You're already in her energy.
Yes.
So you're not sitting at your desk thinking, oh, look, there's the new elevated me and visualizing yourself. You're already acting like that. You're already feeling it.
Yes. And everything I do is from that person.
Yeah. Yeah. How would she respond to that email? Yes. What decision would she make? So for tonight, MVP, did you say, YVP? No. YMP, yep. What would the decision be that she makes tonight about doing that networking? Is it a yes or a no, right? So that's where you would be coming from to make that decision.
Yes, but it's also in the self-love. That's right. Because I am your energy is everything. That's right. So if I can't show up as her and my energy is not going to be the way I would love to, being in that energy, then I will have to, just say, I'm really sorry. I won't be able to make tonight. Yeah.
Because then you're turning up as the other person, and then you're only going to attract the people at that level.
Bad energy.
Attract them. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Energy is felt when you walk in a room. So when you're not feeling good, you slouch, you're not, you're kind of like, oh, you had to come.
Yes.
Right? You have to feel like, oh my God, I'm excited. I can't wait to go to this networking event. And that's the difference. But I also don't want it to be forced. It's listening to your body. Got to be I'm very in tune with my body. So be in tune with really how you feel. And that's the yes or the no. And it's okay to say no.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So can you believe that we've only got a couple of minutes left?
We've talked a lot, though.
I know we've covered so much. I love it. I think, wow, lucky for our audience listening to this conversation. I think they're going to get lots of gold gems out of it, for sure.
Good.
Gold nuggets.
Yes.
So
see the card. Manifest the card for the next day. Like the drums ones, like you think drums, and be also, I'm just throwing this in there. When you visualize something like that, it might not just be a car you see. It can be even as a magazine. Like keep yourself open to the way it shows up.
Yeah. Be open. Yeah, exactly. Because it's still a sign.
Yes.
It's still a sign. Yeah. Or your friend might say, oh my gosh, I just bought a new car and it's green. It's like, wow, that's a sign. Yeah.
It's a sign. It's done. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. I love that. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
So I'd love to ask you the same question that I ask all of my guests before we finish our conversation. So what is one lesson or truth that you've learned on your journey that you wish you had known earlier?
I have two.
Ooh, okay.
Two was, I wish I'd listened to my intuition.
Mm.
It was trying to tell me to not go down that road. But then I say to myself, I always wanted to live in Australia as well. Right. So I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah.
So it's probably not the first one,
Mm-hmm.
but the first one for me was that I gave up my income. And that is a powerful tool in one's life. It gives you the independence. It gives you a choice. And I let that go.
Mm.
And my confidence and my self-worth went right down very, very, very fast.
Mm.
And so for those that are in a position where, if as a mom, it's different, you're giving it up, but I do recommend getting back out there as soon as you can, even if it's a part-time job, to start bringing in source energy and the circulation of money.
Yeah.
Circulation coming into your bank account, your self-worth, our power. And if it's a man, it's the same thing, but usually they're on the other end of that. It is the one thing that changed my entire life, was not having a source of income. It made me feel good. I was in service based. Like, it's not about money. It's about having a purpose in life.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Absolutely. What a beautiful way to finish our conversation about passion and purpose.
Yes.
And that wasn't scripted, everyone. That was not scripted.
I don't script anything. I speak intuitively.
Beautiful. Wow. It's just so good. Thank you. Oh my gosh, for just bringing such a beautiful energy to our conversation. And I just loved listening to all of your perspective and your learning and your wisdom. I just think that everything that you've shared today, I am really blessed and grateful that you have shared it. And I'm sure that there will be so many people listening to this conversation that they'll probably be writing down a lot of notes. I have no doubt. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. It's been so much fun being here with you. And I just, like I said, my purpose is to help more people. So hopefully there's lots of things that people can look at themselves and make notes and start implementing.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'd also like to thank all of our amazing and dedicated audience, our supporters, and also to our sponsors. So I hope that you all have a wonderful rest of the week, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. And again, thank you so much, Yvonne.
Thank you again for having me.